Could you tell us more?
Everyone is tired of superheroes. There is an opportunity to reimagine a whole genre of storytelling.
Have you thought about casting?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the Macro One once again, and we are back here at Black Talk Radio. Well, this is the IMF. That's right, the iconic movies and films that we do in hard and fast, and that's what we do. Now, joining me is the one and only Mr. Andrew Baker, aka Audio Vox, my right-hand man. And today I am so excited because we are going to break down this miniseries on Disney Plus called Wonder Man. That's Wonder Man, and it's starring Mr. Yahya Abdul-Mateen. Now, I wasn't really that familiar with the brother, but Mr. Baker, I know you know a little bit about us. Tell us a little bit about this dude.
I've been a big fan of his since I first saw him in the TV show Watchmen. I really loved how he portrayed the character that he portrays. No spoilers. And then moving on to seeing him in Candyman, I thought another amazing performance. And what I really, really appreciated him in was the newest Matrix, where I thought he absolutely stole the show as the Morpheus Agent Smith amalgamation program that's in that movie. I'm just a huge fan of his, and I'm really happy to see him once again on screen.
Wonder Man. This series is on Disney Plus. So number one, this is a very, very, very simple and simplistic approach to comic book superheroes. What I also liked about it is in the book, he is a character that was written a certain way that they still maintain in terms of how they portray him in the miniseries. The only real difference is he happens to be of Haitian descent. And again, one of the things that I always love is multiculturalism, diversity. I love the fact that they were able to cast him to play this character, and the actual fact that he was a Black Haitian had no relevance to the character, other than creating a very rich and layered background for the character. And when I say rich and layered, they talk about his Haitian upbringing, they talk about his Haitian family, and they present it in a very positive, sort of normal American way. And that is something that I really liked about this series, because always, whenever it's a story and they tend to lean into sort of a Black character, they want to sort of like give him some sort of, he comes from the inner city, or he's overcoming some sort of shortcoming. Whereas in this one, he was just a regular guy. He was an immigrant, a son of an immigrant, whose father was there. As a matter of fact, when the series opens, his father takes him to the movies. And as a guy who loves the movies like myself, I could totally relate to that. And without giving away too much, this character has some issues and some things that he has to develop and overcome, which ultimately his father identifies, as well as his mother and his brother. And throughout the course of the 8-part miniseries, you see how he became who he is. And so for me, just on a surface level, I already like the fact that they did not stereotype this character. So for me, that was point A, number one. For you, Mr. Baker, what was your initial opinion when you saw this film? This miniseries? Because I will go on record as saying right now, it is a slow burn.
Oh yeah, I loved the pacing, and again, approaching it in a simplistic way. I think really, really benefited the show. The way they leaned into the filmmaking process reminded me a little bit of like La La Land and kind of that kind of vibe when it comes to storytelling. I appreciated a lot of the throwback like title sequences and fonts and whatever they use to like be reminiscent of things like Midnight Cowboy, which is one of the biggest references in the
they gotta have some kind of middleman. And that's where old Daniel comes in, you know what I mean? Hey! I'm walking here! I'm walking here! Up yours, you son of a bitch! You don't talk me that way! Get out of here! Don't worry about that. Actually, that ain't a bad way to pick up insurance, you know.
I totally agree with you, bro. I loved the way it looked, dude. It had that classic, like you said, it was almost like you were watching a classic film, but yet everything was still modern today. Like you know, to me, and again, I could be mistaken, bro, but I felt like they were really inclusive. Like you saw, this was not Donald Trump's "Make America Great" reality America. This was everybody's included. Everybody has a seat at the table. And I just thought it was super cool, man, the way that they shot it. Like you said, the titles, the graphics. I love that the camera moves. Like when he was driving his car, and then they would do the thing where it would shift. I thought this shit looked fire, bro. I really liked how this felt. I felt like I said, like you said, I was watching a tribute to people who love movies. And I love movies. And so just because of that, because of the pacing, because of the attention to the detail, man, I really, really respect it. And I was able to go with it, even though there wasn't a ton of action. There wasn't a ton. It was a very character-based story. Like, you have to follow the characters. And speaking of characters, Mr. Ben Kingsley. I mean, do I need to say anything else? Okay, first of all, to me, he's one of those guys that when he's in your film, or your movie, or your show, or your whatever it is, it immediately gets better. He, to me, is very similar to Giancarlo Esposito or a Jeffrey Wright. If you just have them in the film, it immediately gets better. What did you think about Mr. Ben Kingsley?
Oh, amazing job. I love that they turned what felt more like a joke in Iron Man 3 into a well-rounded, believable, and extremely empathetic character. Like, as soon as he was on screen, I was immediately rooting for him. He was impossible not to love, and they did such a great job making him just as empathetic as he needed to be and should have been for the film.
I told you before, Ben, I did not like the Iron Man. The only Iron Man I really liked was the first one. I thought he was just silly, and I believe he was in the third Iron Man, either the second or the third one. But for them to tie the fact that he was an actor in the third one to him being an actor in Hollywood, man, brilliant. That made me want to go back and watch the Iron Man joint again. Like, for real. Like, it went from him being silly to him being, like you said, well-rounded. And see, again, some of this is personal for me because, as you know, Baker, I lived in Los Angeles. I was an actor. I went through all of it. I know what it's like to go on auditions. I know what it's like to be trying to, like, survive in Hollywood. I understand all of it. So for me, it resonated in, like, so many levels. And then because I'm also a huge comic book superhero guy, the fact that this dude has these powers, but he, again, doesn't want anyone to know, or he's sort of suppressing them, I just thought the whole thing was fire. If you had to, who would you say was the villain in this series?
The damage control, the agent.
Because see, I would say, and again, I'm just going off the top of the dome, I would be willing to say that the villain was actually internal. I think the thing that was holding the Simon character down the most was his inner self. Like, he had to overcome his own, inadequacies. Another thing, and maybe you can explain this because maybe I missed it, but I know they said that his father died, but did they ever say how he died?
I don't recall them mentioning that.
Because again, they go against sort of the traditional sort of Marvel superhero narrative. I really want to go back and watch it again because I am curious. Like, I don't think they say how the father died. Like, because you see the mother, you see the brother.
Yeah.
But they never really say.
They just say he
to be honest with you, you know what? I'm sorry, that's because you're up. But like, when I was watching the last episode, because remember the last episode, he takes him to the movie theater. They go back to when he was a kid. He takes him to the movie theater, and I was expecting, like, after they saw the movie, for him to like go outside and get shot. Yeah, exactly. I'm saying, I'm being serious, bro. I was expecting that. Like, okay, this is when Chuck is he's fucking but that didn't have Harold's,
The Pearls, you know, and
right,
Martha Wayne.
right,
Yeah, all
right. And see, what's crazy about that is that was the easy way to do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? That would have been a very traditional Marvel comic way of doing it. You know what I'm saying? He's black, drive by or some shit. But that's
Oh,
what I'm saying, Baker. I felt like this was refreshing because it wasn't that. Like, it was like,
yeah.
wow. But again, I am somewhat curious now though. How did he die? You know what I'm saying? Because, but see, to me, that's what good shit is. You're supposed to want to know. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would really be curious just to find out more about this guy. Whereas, who gives a fuck whether the Navi tribe does whatever the hell else they're gonna do? Like, you see what I'm saying, bro? I, as you can tell, I'm excited about this film. I'm about this miniseries.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that when you rewatch it, you appreciate it even more. It's amazing to me. Art does that.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Real art does that. It makes you
Yeah.
think, and it may go over your head the first time. Simon has all of this basic rage in him that, in my opinion, is being suppressed because he can't quite, get to where he's trying to get to. You know what I mean? Like, and see, that's to me so relatable, bro. Like, dude, we have been friends for a long time, and I'm saying, over the last 2 years, what have I kept saying, man? It's like I can't, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I keep feeling like I'm compressed. Like, you know what I mean? I can't get out of the gate. It's like I feel like I've been caught in this fucking cycle. And so when I see this character in Hollywood saying, "Hey, man, I know I can do more, but I just can't," like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I fucking relate 1,000%, bro. It's like he's bottled up, man.
Mhm.
And he's trying, say, "Hey, man, if I just get the opportunity," but I can't ever seem to quite get the fucking opportunity. And then, and he's just so like, I fuck with that, bro. And see, to me, that's part of the build. See what I'm saying? That's part of the build of the character. That's why I watched every episode, to see, at least we should at least that's it, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I really liked it, bro. Like I said, for me, maybe I'm just biased because it felt personal to me. But that's why, like I said, I didn't need a lot of the action. Are you a soccer fan at all? Do you like soccer?
No,
No,
I mean,
not at
not
all.
really this
Not really
guy.
this guy. But the thing about soccer is the score might be 1-0 or like 2-1, where 95% of the game they're just running back and forth. But Baker, when they score, calm, 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 oh.
Viene el centro, clave, gol. ¡Gol!
Like, when it finally does hit, it's like, and to me, that's what this was. When my man finds out, the secret that Ben Kingsley had been keeping from him, and he's walking through the fucking studio. Yeah. Oh, I was like, what? To me, it had that kind of impact. But on that note, I'm giving this movie fire, or this series fire. But I'm gonna give this joint 4.5 stars. This is definitely fire. It's everything that I hate about the direction that these comic book movies and these series has been doing. This kind of reverses that for me. It was, like I said, man, there wasn't anything revolutionary about this. There wasn't any incredible action sequence or anything like that. But for the first time, man, I felt like I wasn't being rushed to, like, immediately, you know what I'm saying, get down with this character so we can hurry up and move on to the next thing. Like, what's really ironic is I had done a little bit of research about this after I saw it. And, they said initially Disney didn't want to release this. They said it was actually being held, and the director and the creators had to fight them just to release it. They said they didn't want to release it because they didn't think there was going to be a market for it. And this is after they filmed it. Yeah, this is after it was done with post-production. They did not want to release the film or the series because they didn't have confidence that
Yeah.
the public would like follow it. Like you said, it was a little bit, pacing was a little bit. It was just a story about a dude. Like I said, it wasn't any gangster drive-by shootings or anything like that. It was just regular black dude. They said, "No, we don't want to release it." They had to fight just to have it released. But I really related to the fact, again, not to go back to Superman, but remember how I was giving you my whole Clark Kent take, and I said part of why I always liked Superman was because he went from being Clark Kent to becoming Superman. See, this is a perfect example of what I mean by that. See what I'm saying? Like, you're seeing him turn into the guy. Not that you always have to be origin, you know what I'm saying? But there's something about seeing you recognize your talent. Again, that's part of the reason why I think it did resonate with me, is you see this guy who's literally trying to overcome himself. And then when he finally does, he becomes Wonder Man. You see what I'm saying? Like, I really respect that. They had the tact, the intelligence, and the confidence to tell a character-driven story and not be afraid to tell it and say, look, this is what we're going to put out there, and we think you as an audience are going to follow us to wherever we take you. So I respected that immensely. So anyway, my review for Wonder Man, the series, I'm giving it 4.5 stars. Of course, that is fire, Mr. Baker.
All right, Wonder Man. I am going to also give it fire. I'm going to give it 4 stars on the money. For me, what I think brought down was a little bit of pacing and script issues from time to time. Wonderful show. I give it it reminds me of a campfire, that kind of fire. It's a very warm, relaxing, kind of nostalgic feel around it. Brings up some really great warm feelings as well. Great show. I highly recommend it. 4 stars fire.
But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy, the Mac Real One. This is BlackTalkRadio.tv. This is the IMF. Goddammit. It is 2026. I got my main man, my right hand, Mr. Andrew Baker, next to me, and we are doing it real big. We want to thank everyone for checking this out. This is the IMF. Hit like, hit subscribe. Let's grow this channel, and we will be back. Love, peace, and hair.